Okay, let's try and unpack this. What if everything you thought about why things go wrong, you know, enemy is bad luck. What if it's all based on a fundamental misunderstanding?
It's a pretty radical idea, yeah.
Right.
We're diving into some really thought-provoking stuff today.
Mm.
Kulahol, Refu Ishmael's The Enemy and Misfortune.
Right. And our goal here in this deep dive is to really get into Ishmael's framework because it shifts everything away from blaming like external stuff towards looking inside at our own internal states and, well, the dynamics of time itself, which is fascinating.
Absolutely. His core thesis, essentially, is that these things you see as threats or misfortunes coming from outside,
Yeah.
they aren't just random or someone being malicious.
So they're what then?
They're more like reflections, complex reflections of your internal condition, how aligned you are with, let's call them the rhythms of existence, temporal vibrational dynamics.
Which, wow, hits you right away with that first challenging point he makes. If
Yeah.
someone's actually kind to you, but you see them as an enemy,
Yeah.
then Ishmael says, you're not fighting them. You're fighting a demon within, your own internal issue.
Exactly. It completely flips the script on, who or what the enemy actually is.
So how does he redefine these, like, adversaries then? People we normally see as the bad guys.
Well, it's interesting. He doesn't frame them as inherently malicious. He calls them hurdles that are necessary to inspire one to aspire.
Hurdles.
Yeah.
Necessary hurdles, not villains plotting against you.
Right. They show up, in his view, not really to harm you directly, but more to push you, to spark your own growth.
And he even says their actions aren't, like, intentional malice, but reflex.
Yeah, reflex. Almost like they're playing a role that's, well, maybe predetermined, serving a bigger purpose in your journey, kind of removes the personal sting from conflict.
Takes the heat out of it a bit.
It does. And this redefining, it's not just for people. He does it for hate, too. Hate isn't about what someone did.
It's internal.
It's an internal state. He describes it as a subconscious, inharmonious retraction. Think of it like an energy mismatch inside you, something clashing internally.
An energetic thing.
Okay.
So if the enemy is maybe internal or just a necessary hurdle, what about bad luck, misfortune? Is that internal too?
This is where time comes in a really profound way for Ishmael.
Okay.
Time isn't just seconds ticking by. He sees it as an active filter, something that actually determines what you can have, what you can experience.
Filter.
Yeah. He puts it very directly. You cannot have nor hold on to something or a thing that time hasn't given. Like time itself has to grant permission almost.
Whoa. Okay, so misfortune then. It's not random punishment, not just a cosmic accident.
No, not in this framework. He's very clear. Misfortune is a warning sign that a person is in an inharmonious position or out of sync with time.
A warning sign, like a diagnostic signal.
Exactly. Less like bad luck struck, more like, hey, your internal rhythm is off. You're out of step with the flow, with the timing of possibility.
Okay, that makes misfortune feel less like an endpoint, maybe more like feedback. And didn't he mention something about specific times of vulnerability?
Yes, the periodic omen. He calls it a measurable time a person is highly vulnerable to misfortune.
Measurable.
Suggests there might be cycles, predictable windows, where this disharmony, this being out of sync, is more likely to show up as problems. Temporal misalignment.
Fascinating. He also separates misfortune from challenges, right? Challenges are different.
Right. Challenges are inspiring experiences. They push you, like those hurdles we talked about. They make you aspire. Misfortune, though, that's the signal you're really out of harmony with time.
Okay. Which brings up a big question then.
Yeah.
If it's all about internal state, internal alignment, what about, external negative stuff, like what some cultures might call a witch or sorcerer? Do they have power?
And his answer is pretty blunt. No. Not if you are internally aligned. If your complementary variables, his term for your inner components, are in harmony,
And those external things.
they have no power over you. It always comes back to the internal configuration being the key.
He uses some abstract terms for this, right? K something.
Okay, spectra, yeah.
Yeah.
And he talks about a kind of gravitational pull. It's dense stuff, but think of it like an energetic hierarchy.
Okay.
If your internal K spectra, your core makeup, is strong and aligned, it creates this powerful resonance, a protective pull that isn't easily affected by weaker external misaligned energies. Your inner state dictates your resilience.
Wow. Okay. So from enemies to bad luck to external negativity, the constant theme is this radical shift inward. It's all about your internal state and your relationship with time, with these fundamental dynamics.
Absolutely. It completely moves away from external conflict and random chance. Adversity becomes, Well, a symptom of internal disharmony or being out of sync with time. The focus is on understanding and recalibrating yourself.
So for you listening, what does this actually mean? How might you interact differently if you saw difficult people as maybe necessary hurdles? And what if misfortune wasn't random, but a signal your rhythm is off? How would you even begin to check that temporal alignment?
That's a lot to think about. And Ishmael leaves us with this final idea that really ties it all together, and it challenges so much conventional thinking about, well, about separation and purpose.
What's that?
He says, because nothing is disconnected, and no one is striving to reconnect to anything divine.
Wait, nothing is disconnected and no one is striving to reconnect.
Yeah, it questions that whole idea that we're separate from each other, from time, from the divine, and that life's purpose is finding that connection again.
So what if we're not separate?
What if life isn't about finding connection, but about realizing and living from an inherent unity that was maybe never actually broken, recognizing we're already part of it all?